Hello, everybody. How are we today? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can see me and hear me and say hello. Let's see. We got Mavis in the house and Jeremy. Awesome. Hi, Jeremy. How you doing? Did y'all get that massive rain? I know a lot of people are doing the backstroke today. I tell you, my heart goes out to them. We got flood warnings from when we lived in Kentucky on our phones. They haven't taken us off their list yet. When mom lived with us up there, she was on oxygen. And if you contact your utility companies and there's a storm comes through, you're the first to get your power back on if you've got this document filled out by your doctor. And we filled it out. Well, when mom passed, we told them she'd passed, that we didn't need to do that anymore and make it fair for everybody. And they kept us on the list. So they let us know when there's floods, tornadoes, any kind of weather up there. Can't find out what's going on where we're at. But we can find out everything in Kentucky. So, yeah, it's hilarious. Well, thank you, Mavis. I feel good. This is the last, you see, the last vestiges of the shingles. I got some here and up in here, but it's on its way out. Hi, Yinahan. Hi, Katia. How you feeling, Katia? Hi, Karen. We got a lot of goodies today. I got some pre-class stuff to do, and then we're gonna get right into this pattern. I'm gonna show you how to work with the beads in the pattern and all that fun stuff. Hi, RD. Out of Chaos Week. Awesome. Hi, Yvonne. I can relate. Hi, Mary. Hi, Robin. Arizona. Let's see. We've got people from all over. Y'all about ready for spring break? I think we're gonna set a date to take a couple of weeks off and for spring break, so I can do my spring cleaning. Oh no, no, no. We're only 67 today. So yeah, we have that issue. Hi, Tasneem. Tasneem, I've seen all your work. Oh my goodness, lady. Oh my goodness, that's just beautiful. Just beautiful. Hi, Sue. Sue. Mary King is from Arizona. I don't know where Mesa is, but talk to Mary. You two could get together, and boy, I tell you, we do. Y'all got on, should have a private chat in there somewhere. I don't know where. Don't ask me. I'm not the techie person. Mr. Tech's in a conference call. I'll find out though. Mary, if you'd like for us to share your email address with Sue, we can through email so you don't stick it out here in the public. 52 in Virginia. Yeah, I know. We was sweltering. It got up to 97 here one day. And then it just plummeted that night. And then the next day it got up to 88. So, yeah. But when the rain and all that stuff come through, it left everything out of here. Hi, Aurora. Hi, Pam. I seen you a while ago. Pam keeps changing back and forth. She just changes things. I'm doing fine, and Pam I haven't talked to today, so I can't speak for her. Hi, Derby. My shingles is on the way out. My scabs keep falling off, and they itch. The scabs do, but we can't scratch. So, but I'm gonna have a Zorro scar on my forehead, so I'm gonna be Zorro. That's my life goal, to be Zorro. Just saying. If you believe that, I got a bridge in Arizona. I'm gonna say you girls. It is healing up though. This is my 4th week dealing with it. So, and I've got, I'm still not able to wash my hair like I'd like to and fix it and stuff. So I've got scabs that go all the way up in here, back to here on my head still. So yeah, it's no fun. I don't wish it on nobody. Okay, Pam. Sue wants to share her email with Mary King. If Mary is registered with the classes, you can send her an email with Sue Larson's email address. They want to get together. Can you do that for me? Please, pretty please. Anytime you all want to hook up with somebody in your state and you want to share your email address, be sure to let us know. Pam, she's got all the email stuff, so she takes care of business. Yeah, I could be Super Zelda. That works. I don't know who Zelda is, but I'll be her. Hi, Tracy. Okay, we'll be waiting for you. Hi, Carol. We got a really good class today. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, it is 3 o'clock and it's time to get started on all this juicy goodness here. And I have a few goodies to share with you guys today. Hubs went to the Dollar Tree. He knows I have this thing with cuties, any kind of cutie things I want. Okay, I just love cutie things. I got grandkids. Okay, um, Aurora, you have a problem with very, very dry scalp and waiting for a derma appointment. This is shingles that's causing all this. I can't even scrub my head, like, do this, and I can't use a hair dryer, nothing. My hair's frizzy. So until it's gone, I can't do much of anything. So you get what you get, folks. That's just the way we roll. Okay. So, but anyway, back to the fun. I told him I wanted some Easter eggs. I've got a little tree. She's probably about maybe a little bit bigger than this. And she wants little ornaments for the different seasons. Okay. And she spins. Okay. So I said, go get me some Easter eggs. I ordered some from Walmart. I have a problem with sizes. I didn't realize how big these things were. You see that? You see how big that is? That is a gold egg. But what is nice about them, they open up and they're my favorite color inside, but the lid stays on. These have holes in them. Okay. So they're not only for treats for kids, they're for treats for us adults that cat because size 20 thread. You can get in here, feed it through the hole, and tap with it. All right. Thread's not going to get dirty. Your egg's going to roll all around. And we'll give her the, tell her how to register. Mary, you're going to have to register with the class so that we can share your email address with Sue or Sue's email address with you. So if you could register, Pam will put it in the text how you register. You just email us and she will give you all the facts, tell you what you need to do, and she'll get you registered. All right, Pam, take over. I'll wait. I got patience. I got patience. you can write us at the online tatting class at gmail.com. There it is. And we need your name, your location, and your tool of choice. That's all we need. We do not share your information without your permission. Yes, tatting eggs. This one was a gold one. It came in the kit. Okay, that's what I liked. But they got different color ones. Now, mind you, they got huge eggs. Well, next week, we're going to tat trims and pretty things to put on our eggs to hang on our trees. For those of you that have holiday trees, and what those are is like wood trees and stuff. Oh, by the way, everybody say hi to Mary Jane. She's in the class today. She didn't get washed away in the floods. So that's a good thing. So everybody say hi to Mary Jane. But yeah, you can use these to put a ball of thread in. Now, the whole ball of size 20 is not going to fit in here. Okay. Size 80 will, but 20 won't. 40 will. 40 will fit in here. I don't think Elizabeth 40 will, but I know the Olympus 40 will. Okay. So you can use these to put your thread in, close it up, lay it down. If it gets in the floor, it just rolls around. It's not going to pop open. These are made to hold candy. If they can survive through children running around hunting Easter eggs, they can survive you dropping it on the floor. Okay, let's use logics there. But we're going to learn how to decorate these little things for Easter so that we can have some decorations for adults. But I have to show you the adorable ones that I got. He got me these smaller ones. This is 1.5 inches. These I like. They open the same as the larger one, but these are a little tighter. This is Dollar Tree, but they've all got the little connector on them. So as you can see, they're a pain to get apart, but your thread's not going to get dirty in these. But we got this one. Now look at this. It's a little chicken. He's in his little shell. But you open him, shell comes off, and here's your lid. Put your thread in there and close it back up. This one's not going to roll around. This one's not going to take off because he's got a flat bottom. Okay? So he's flat on the bottom. And then I got these. Now these come in 2 different colors, the pink and the white. Now some of the Dollar Trees have blues, you know, in yellows and greens and so forth. I wanted the one that was white, looked like a bunny, and they open like this. Same deal. They snap shut. But we're going to put these in little baskets. We're going to make little decorations to put our little Easter egg toys in. These are for the Easter egg hunters, but they work for our holiday trees. Okay? So if you can get to Dollar Store, Dollar Tree, $1.25, you get 12 of these little puppies, and you can have one really adorable looking tree. All right, so there's something to go looking for this week, because you need to have your Easter eggs ready for next week. This is the one we're going to decorate because I got some ideas for him I want to share with you guys, and we'll get him ready to hang on our tree. The next thing. All right. A couple of weeks ago, we did the balanced double stitch. And I mentioned that it looked like in the video with Monique's technique that she was doing Jane Eberall's technique. And she said it was Ruth Perry's. Now, both ladies took their notes from this book. Okay, Tatting by Rhoda Ald. Okay, page 83 and 84 in the book describe this technique on how to do the balanced double stitch. Okay, she goes into it in this paragraph over here. Okay, all this is about going into the balanced double stitch. Now, I'm not going to read you all this, but this book was put out in 1973, maybe before, a copyright on it is 73. And trying to get this page open up, it doesn't want to very well. There we go. All right. And she goes in to describe how the balanced double stitch is done. Down here in the bottom. Can y'all see that? Right here. You see that? Now, she's going into the balanced double stitch there, and she's doing it exactly as described in the documentation that I have gotten from Jane. Okay. And Jane shared the yumpu with me. I didn't get all the yumpu, and apparently there was 2 other pages that I did not get. What happened to them? I don't know. I only had the front page. In the other 2 pages, Ruth Perry talks about that being in this book. Now, I'm going to set the record straight on the balanced double stitch and the double stitch. It reminds me of the Catherine wool join and the blipless join. Both have the same desired effect, okay? And both are done similarly the same way. There's something different between the 2. I can't lay my finger on it. I have to do them both to see the difference. But they do the same thing. They take the blip out of the back of your work so you don't have a color change. Okay? It hides all that. It's just a way to do something, make it look better. Okay? We have a lot of techniques that have 15 different names because people want to name a technique. They change it up and they name it after their thing. We only need 1. Okay? We really don't need 15. When I was making the videos for the classes, I had to list the 15 different names for everything that I did. Half the video was listing names. So please, people, in your design, first of all, techniques cannot be copywritten. So don't go out creating more techniques for us to have to fight with names. Okay? Let's keep it simple. There is a thing called keep it simple, stupid. Okay? And the reason it's said that is called KISS is because why make something simple into something technically challenging just so you can put your name out there? Make a pattern. Write a book. That'll get your name out there. But a technique will not, because it cannot be copywritten. People can change it. People can turn it inside out, upside down, and in between. And you cannot copyright the technique. However, you can copyright the documentation on that technique. But it still will not allow you to copyright the technique. So why bother? That's just my philosophy. I could be wrong. If I offended someone, I apologize now. But having 15 names for one technique is redonky-donk. Okay? So when I teach you a technique, I am going to call it by the name that I know. Now, Monique's is different, and the reason is she was following the yumpu information. Mine was different because I didn't have the yumpu information. What I had was information from a Karen Cabrera video, which happens to be the same technique I taught you. And the funny thing is, she did hers in shuttle. However, that is the way you do it for needle. So as you can see, any technique can be done shuttle and needle. You just got to work the workaround. And sometimes the workaround ends up being the same way for both tools. And that's where people get confused. So let's stop confusion. Pick your techniques that you like to work and use them. Just because it's got 15 different names doesn't mean you have to learn all 15 different ways. Pick one of the ways you like. I've got 7 videos up how to do a split ring. Seriously, because there's 7 different ways you can do a split ring. Pick the one you like. You don't have to know all of them. There's no law that says you must. Every technique after the original ring and chain production is something someone created to make it look better, make it easier to do, or to make it more in depth, have more texture. There was a reason it was created. So when you run across the technique and you say, my God, this thing is just ridiculous. I don't want to mess with this. Why do I have to? Remember, there is a workaround. In tatting, there's always a workaround. Padded double stitch include both balanced and double stitches? It can. A padded double stitch, all a padded double stitch is, Tasneem, is this double stitch is padded. It's thicker. A lot of times to get a padded double stitch, they'll include as core thread, extra thread, or a larger thread. Okay, so that's your padding. Okay, but it can mean other things. Do your research. Okay, do your research. See what the common denominator is in everything you learn about tatting. I know what I've got, and that's it. What's in my tatting toolbox, I use every day of my life. I learned it from Georgia. Georgia didn't teach me things I didn't need. Okay? She never did. She knew it. But it's like she said, there's some things in tatting we just don't need. And it's true. There's things in crochet you don't need. So think about that. Do you need a stitch marker in crochet? Not really. You don't have to go out and buy stitch markers in crochet. You can use a piece of thread. Works just fine. You see what I'm saying? There's always something. All right. So let's get on with today. We got the roll-to-all thing. So know that Monique knows what she's talking about. She learned a lot of her tatting from Georgia and I. So she knows her tatting. She had a good teacher in Georgia. I'm not saying about me. I'm saying in Georgia. Georgia's one of the best. Okay. We got several good ones like Georgia, but Georgia is one of the best. Okay. And she learned from me and she learned from Georgia. And so she knows what she's talking about. What she didn't learn, she will ask questions. Don't think for a second she won't. So if you're watching her videos and her things are a little different than ours, just know there is other ways to do things. Other ways. Okay. So no one's wrong. No one's in the fault. Everybody's right. Everybody is right. Okay. Just like with the Catherine wheel and the blipless joint. They're both right. Which one do you want to try? That's your question. Hi, Teresa. And I want you to discover what you like. Not what I like, what you like. That's right. See, Aurora knows it. And that's most of your older tatters are traditional tatters. And that is traditional tatting. The double stitch, ring, chain, and split ring. They didn't even tie in their ends. They cut and tied. They cut it and they tied a knot in it and it was done. And if you run across old tatting in a secondhand shop, it's got all these little fuzzies on it. That is the knots that they tied. And way back in the day, they didn't have chains. They didn't use chains. They used bare thread space. And to join from one picot to the next, they tied a piece of thread with a knot to join the two picots. They didn't join them like we do today. It has evolved. And with evolution in tatting, there comes change. There comes different ways to do things. People learn, people create, and that's what makes it fun. Donna, you're here. We're having class, and date and time is Tuesday, 3 p.m. every week. If we take time off, I'll let you know. Pam's going to get you that. There it is. That's how you register for the classes. I send out emails to let you know what you need and give you stuff you need to download. Welcome back, Tracy. We're just now getting started. Now, as I said in the email, class may run over a little bit. That's fine. Okay. There's two things I want to show you. One is how to work with these beads, these small seed beads. The second thing is how to sew in your beads. Okay. But I'm not going to be doing the pattern to do that. I'm going to show you with things you can see, because first of all, when I do the pattern, I will be using the penny thread. This stuff is expensive and hard to come by. Because I do have to make a pair in the green. There's a reason. I've got a pair of green earrings I've got to make for a friend. It's for a birthday. And so I've got to do that. And so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make it these and get it done. But I don't want to waste the penny. So I'm going to show you using Elizabeth thread. Okay, but I'm going to show you how to thread these beads and how to use them on that first ring, because what you use them on the first ring, you use them like that all the way through. Okay, so let's go into our down shop and you will see what I am doing. All right, so let me get switchy dude here, and we're in our down shot. Everybody see that okay? Am I close enough for you guys? Now, this is our pattern here, okay? That's listed underneath the class video. If you're new to the class, you can print it out. We also have a website. I'm still working on it, folks. So what we got up there is what we got. After Easter, okay, we're going to take some time off, okay, so I can get my house spring clean, get the ick out from the winter. But after I do that, we're coming back to class. It's my spring break, your spring break, to gather up supplies. We are going to do the wave set of Karina Mayfeld's. Okay, the necklace, the earrings, and all that. We're going to show you how to do that. Okay, so that's going to be a fun class. We're going to start projects. All right, so print out your printouts. Make sure you get all your pages. Okay, because this one here is just the basics. This would be the blank that would go on the back of this pattern to give it structure, to give it strength, if you wanted to make a bracelet. Yeah, you can make a bracelet out of this. Isn't that fun? So, saying that, all right, there would be changes in how you approach things. So, we're going to do the beaded version for the earrings. All right, so let's flip our page over. Now, here is our counts here, and these are the rings we're going to be doing. Now, over here, the bottom of the page, Karina has, the beaded variant requires the use of beads known already. 3 beads in the loop for the ring, 1 from the shuttle to form the diamond marked DBP in the pattern. All rings will start with those 3 beads in the left hand, except the ring 6. Feel free to change it if you prefer. Okay, now let's get over here to our little pattern, our little fun. Thank you, Pam. Now, as you see on my desk, let me move some of this stuff out of the way so I can get everything situated here. I have some fun things here. First of all, when you're working with penny thread or the C-line, make sure you have a thread zapper. This thing, it does this. Can y'all see that sucker light up? See it? It's got an iron in there that cuts your thread. Now here is the penny thread on my shuttle. Watch. Let it get hot and cut it, and it seals it to keep it from raveling on you. Okay? So when you're working with The Ceylon microcord or penny thread, either one. Make sure you have a thread zapper because you cut them with scissors, guess what? It's gonna fray. There's nothing stopping it. This does. They're not that expensive. It only requires 2 batteries. I removed my batteries when I put it up, okay? And the reason I do is so the batteries don't corrode inside. All right, and I just keep them in a zippy bag over there. This has a lock on it so I can't accidentally turn it on. You need one of those when you're working with it. You don't want to get burnt. That thing will put some serious burns on your body. You're also going to need beading needles. The beading needles I use are called Venus. I get them on Amazon. You get like 11 to a pack. When they get bent up and out of shape, misshapen, you can get more, okay, off to themselves and just keep them in your case. If you keep them in your case, they don't get destroyed. When you put them in your tatting bag, the case doesn't lose your pins, okay? Now, I also have in here sewing needles. I also have in here big eye needles. Here's a big eye needle, I do believe, right there. Nope, that's not one. I've got them in here. There she is. Okay, I found her. She's mixed in. This is what they call a big eye needle. It's for blind people like me. Okay? It's got a big eye. Now you can sew your ends in with that. Y'all see that? You can sew your ends in with that. Not a problem. It's stout enough. But if you tat tight, make sure you use a sewing needle because you're going to bend that big eye needle to pieces. Now, to thread beads, the reason I like the Venus is because of this little eye right here. You get regular beading needles, okay? The eyes will collapse and then your eyes collapsed. It doesn't go back into shape. This one, the way it is made, when you run it through the bead with your thread, when you come out the other side, it opens back up. So you don't lose the needle. The other ones that collapse and don't open back up, you have to take something, dig it in there, and by then, you know, you're tired of it. Okay, it can get very aggravating. Get you a set of Venus. You'll love them. You'll use them for more than just beading, trust me. All right, so what you're going to do after you get your shuttle ready to go and you getting your beads on, put your thread in the big needle, your Venus needle. Now I've got 4 beads right here, and you just thread them on. They're seed beads. These are 10-aughts. Okay, because I'm using the penny thread, that's what they take, is a 10-aught. Now, you see I've got my beads on there. Watch this. Now I'm going to pull the beads and the thread through. And I just did. They're on there, and check it out. My needle is intact. It is not out of shape. And I pull it off, and guess what? I've still got my needle. You threw your needles because you couldn't find where the eye was. I can relate to that. If I don't have my glasses on, I can't see nothing, and even with my glasses, I have a hard time. So I'm going to show you on here. Okay, see, I've got beads and stuff on here. This is ready for the pattern. Okay, and what I do, because there's so many beads, is I count off as I'm wrapping my shuttle, because she tells you how much you need on your thread, and it's a little over 2.5 yards. I put 3 on just to be safe. Okay, so I put 4 beads on. I count off 10 rounds. Okay, I go 1, and then when I come back around to the tip, that's 2. I count off 10, throw in 4, the 4 beads. Okay, count off 10, throw in 4. The next one I count 15. That gives me a little extra for any picots or whatever. And that's how I manage to get my beads throughout the shuttle. Okay, I try to balance it out because you don't want all the beads on one side and thread on the other. You want to mix it up. And when you change your count from 10 to 15, it does that. So that's a little trick for you. Now, to start this pattern, you want to leave a tail big enough to sew in. Plus, you've got to sew in these beads that are sitting over here. Okay? So you want to make sure you got plenty enough. So I give myself at least a foot of thread extra. Okay? Now, let's wrap our hand, and we only need 3 beads in the loom. The other bead goes back on the shuttle. So pull off our shuttle enough thread to slide that 4th bead back onto the shuttle. Wrap it up in there. All right, now we've got our 3 beads on the back pinky finger. Everybody see that? Now, our first count is 5 double stitches, picot, and it's a tiny picot. These picots are minuscule. Okay, 5, and then she's got the 3 beads coming in, and then the other bead comes from the shuttle. Then we do 1, and then we do another small picot, and 11. That's our count. So we're going to do our first 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's our 5th one. Now, you notice we don't have any swing in there until we start pulling back on that penny thread. The reason we don't is because penny is not wound the same way as tatting thread. Okay? It does have the S and Z twist, but the way that they do it, it keeps the twist at bay. Okay? So now we've got 5 double stitches. We want our teeny picot. Okay, so we're going to bring it in. And what I would do normally is I'll use, if I've got a crochet hook on the end of my shuttle, I will use the crochet hook in there, pull that picot down to the crochet hook to make sure I've got enough room for it. If not, I use the pick of my shuttle. Okay, if I don't have a pick or a crochet hook, I will actually take a crochet hook and stick it in there and use that for my picot gauge, so that I have enough room to get my crochet hook into that picot so that I don't split the plies. When you're making jewelry, you do not want to split your plies. Do everything you can to prevent that from happening. Okay? Now, once we've got our 5 double stitches and our picot going in here, as soon as I can get this little bugger going, we're going to put in the other half of that and slide that over. That's our first set. And as you can see, let me get that up there for you guys. It's a very small picot. You don't want to notice the picot. Okay? Now, we got 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we get to play with our beads. We're going to open our loom, slide these beads around, all 3 of them. Now we're going to pull this one off of our shuttle, slide it down, and I'm going to meet right here on that picot. Grab all those beads in our hand, put them in the pinch, and put in our first double stitch. Here comes the fun, folks. You've got to work all these around so that they do sit proper. Once you get them into place, okay, then you pull in that double stitch. Now, let me show you something. This, when you get through with it, it's all going to sit like it's supposed to. Okay? There you go. It'll all draw up together. Now, we've got the 1, and we want another picot. Another tiny picot. And we're going to do 11. That's 1, 2, 3, and the shuttle goes flying. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now you say, oh Lord, we got all of them. We should have put in a double stitch. No. When you're doing ankars, unless you absolutely feel it necessary, try to avoid the balanced double stitch, especially when you're working with this type of thread. Because if you don't, guess what? You're going to have a nightmare closing it. Because this thread doesn't have give to it like you'd hope it would. Okay? Now, we've got our ring set up. We've got to pull everything into place. Okay? And there we go. It's all there. You see? And that's how you work with your beads and your ring. All right? Now, when it comes to these 3 here, the way these are threaded, let me show you. I'll show you right here on this. The way these are threaded on here. In order for that to work properly, for you to sew it in, you've got to thread them on properly. These are all 3 sewn in. All right, you start with the first one that you want to go on. That's this small one. And you feed it through the hole. As soon as you find the hole, you feed it through. Okay? Then you want to go through this centerpiece. Feed it through. Everybody see that? Pull those on in. Then grab your seed bead. This is your stop bead. This is going to stop everything from sliding off. You put that on. Pull your tail thread out of it only. Okay? Now, leave it in the loop. Run this needle back up through the base of this one, the base of this one. Come back up through and pull it all together. Once you get it in, and get that other half. Once you get it up there, here's what you want to do. Pull that tail out. Okay? And then you have your 3 pieces in there, and your stop bead stops it from coming off. That's if you don't, Harold, the reason you're having trouble closing the rings is because you need to use a thread conditioner when tatting with the Ceylon or the penny thread, and it makes it more pliable and it makes it more giving. In fact, here are the things you can use. Beeswax. You can get a 2-pack at Amazon. I think it's $6.99, and it's true beeswax. It's white, and when you put it on your thread, it doesn't change the color. Thread Magic is another thing you can get. Comes in a container like this, and the nice thing is it's got grooves. Yes, I do use it. It's got grooves on the side, so you can run your thread across and through real easy. If you can get your hands on it, they quit making it Thread Magic or Thread Heaven. This is the same thing. As you can see, this is dried up nearly. This is the same stuff as Thread Magic, except Thread Magic has more of a Vaseline type texture to it. Yeah, polyester thread. You want to use anything that's different than tatting thread, because the way you're manipulating it, and it's such small thread, use some type of thread conditioner with it, because you want to not fight with your thread. Don't fight with it. You fight with it, you really can have problems. Thread magic is thread heaven, same formula. We're not allowed to say that because thread magic actually, or thread heaven went out of business for thread magic. Does that make sense? It doesn't to me. Yeah, you're right, Fiber. You're definitely right. The thing of it is we can't say that because we know it. They don't want everybody else to know it. But I didn't say it, you did. Okay, now we got all these pretties put on here, and you've seen how you stack them, okay? And why the extra little seed bead at the base. It's to stop the work, okay? That's not coming off. You can sit there and spin it. You can dance with it. You can turn upside down with it on your head. It's not coming off until you take it off. Once you sew in these ends, there's going to be a hard time taking it off. Okay. I can take it off now because my ends aren't sewed in. All right. Now I've got a sample over here to show you how to sew this in so you don't have problems with it coming out on its own. Okay. So let me get this all straightened out here. There we go. And I always like to set my stuff up in the order that I use it. Okay. And I advise you to do the same. Now, over here, I've got a ring. You see it? I've tatted up a ring. I've got two tails here. Okay. And they're both really long. It's so I can sew in this one bead and show you how to do this. Because this bead's big. And this thread is size 10 thread. Would you believe I can't even see to thread it? It's allergy time, so I'm doing a little crying over here. My eyes are, I'm not. Yeah, we got all that rain and stuff. And it didn't help my allergies, none at all. While it was raining, it was fine. I could breathe and didn't sneeze my head off the minute the rain left. I was sneezing my head off again. All right, so we get our piece in. Now I'm going to use this because it's large enough. I can make it work so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to make that my stop bead, okay? Because I want you to see how we're going to do this. So we're going to do our beads. They're threaded on, okay? We pull our thread through. Now we're set up. What are we going to do? Well, let me show you this. If I can keep it in my hands. All right, you see our stitches here. Okay, these are our double stitches. These are the cap, this little thread that comes across. That's the cap. Or some people call it a waistband because it looks like a pair of pants when you do the double stitch because you've got two legs that come down with a waistband. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it lunch if you want, if it makes you feel good. But those are what you're going to work with on the back side of your work. Okay? Now, we want to turn it over. The way we know we're working on the back side is our caps are sitting here pronounced where our picot is. Even if they're tiny picots, like we're doing on the Ankar's piece, we still are going to have caps on both sides of that picot. Okay, so make sure you're reversed because when you reverse the work over, guess what? Your picot doesn't have caps up here. That's your back side of your work. Now, we're coming over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to thread this tail in and out on the back side. And we go down inside this first cap here. Okay. See what I'm doing? pull our thread through. Working with 10 thread is not a picnic, I'll be honest. And we pull our bead into place. Lock it in up there. We're going to come through the back side, bottom end of that next cap and go back through. Watch out because you can stab yourself at this point with any needle you're using. And once it goes in, it hurts to take out. Ask me how I know. Okay, once you do that, and you want to do it for several stitches. Okay, once you get them pulled in, you want to pull it tight. Once you pull it tight, and I'm going to show you real quick, okay, that falls into line in between these stitches. Okay, now if you look at the top, it shoves everything through the center of it. Okay, and then you just cut close to your work. Don't cut your work. And I'm going to show you a little tool that if you can find it, it'll work great. This is something I got at Tat Days years ago. It was in my kit. They give you a bag at Tat Days when you come in, a goodie bag. That's what I call it. And it's got all kinds of nifty little things in there. Well, I got these little tools. Okay. One of them is, this is made out of shrinky dinks. You know that little piece of thread at the end, and you want to use that thread and finger tat it in? This makes a perfect little finger tatting shuttle. I'm just here to tell you. Now, you see these are sequins. Okay? Now you want to put that sequin on your thread. Okay, feed it through, pull it down, and when you get ready to cut that thread, the sequin prevents you from cutting your thread where you don't want it cut. So grab you some sequins and use it to cut your thread. Okay? It will save you hours, especially working with ant cars. You're going to cut your threads because you don't want the fuzzies hanging out there. You don't want no fuzzies. All right? No fuzzies. All right? Everybody got those two things under your belt for your earrings. That is the two hardest parts about this pattern. We went through about the joins. Remember, if the ring is on top, the join is a down join. The ring's on the bottom, it's an up join. So according to the pattern, let me show you. Get something to point. All right, this is ring 1. This one's on top. All right, you get this ring done. Okay, you come over here, you're doing ring 2. She's on the bottom. And that's when you're going to have the up join here. Okay, and you don't join to ring 3 yet because it's not made. When you do ring 3, this join right here is, guess what? A down join. So you're going to pull it from the bottom because it's laying on top of ring 2. So ring 2 is going to have a down join and an up join. Everybody got that? Give me a thumbs up if you got that, because this can make or break your earrings. Come on, thumbs up, thumbs up. And I love it. You don't have any stock in it? Mary, I'm taking it. This is probably your first class. Anybody that is new in the class, Pam is working on, well, Pam, I'm helping her. We're working on a list of our videos, and I'm going to get you a list together for beginners. But if you ever need any help on the side, please notify me, and I will work with you personally, one-on-one. I'll set up a time that's convenient for you, and we will work together to bring you up to par for the class. Okay, but we've got videos up on the channel, and you can go through them. They're technique videos. Hi, Gloria. But if you need one-on-one time, just give me a shout. I'll work it out with you. I don't have a problem with that. My goal is to make sure you can tat and you can make beautiful lace, just like the rest of the world. All right. So everybody's got that. That is your main goal for today, is to make sure your joins are right, your beads are right. Okay, Jackie, I'll get you the beginner's list. How many of you are familiar with Georgia's channels? Pam, do we still have Georgia's channels listed somewhere? Because those are designated beginners stuff for both beginner, needle, and shuttle. Can you locate those channels for me? I own those channels. Those channels are part of this class until we can get the list put together. There's 200 and I think it's 74 or 84 videos up. By the way, folks, we have surpassed 2,600 students in this class. That is an awesome feat. I want to see 3,000. Bring your friends. Remember, it's all free. We charge you nothing to learn. So if you've got it, then we're done with this pattern, because what you learn from this pattern, you're going to be using when we do the wave pattern. Okay. The wave pattern will help all this make sense, even though it came out after this. It's going to make it make all good sense. And then I've got some other patterns in the making. So, but when you're done, this is what you're going to get, is a pair of earrings that look like this. Okay. All right. They're listed at the top of the channel. What do you talk about, Pam? They have their own channel. Please explain to Lucy, because Lucy's not thinking today. Yes, Jackie, they should be, because Georgia had me to list them that way. Those are the ones I did for the classes when Georgia was running them. By the way, I found my binder, folks. Let me get it. Excuse the noise. This is my binder that has all the stuff in it that I was supposed to work on for Georgia and get up. Okay. Oh, I found some TED exam stuff. Oh, cool. But these are general information documents. But there's all kinds of techniques in here and stuff that I'm supposed to do videos on. You see how thick that binder is? So yeah, that's one of my jobs. And right now, priorities are priorities. You all are priority. Okay. I will pull out what I need. Got it? I don't know. I'll have to look at that. Let me switch camera here. Yeah, I'm switching camera, right? Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can get that for you guys. Her advanced class channel's still up. Okay. There we go. This is the original channels that I did for Georgia. So let me get that in there. Well, Pam, you just beat me to the punch. All right, that's for shuttle. Let me get needle. Or Pam, you're going to get the needle class? Yeah, that's all beginner stuff. Okay. Now that will help you get started. If you have a question, ask. Listen, if you don't ask it, I'm not a mind reader. Okay. I can't read your mind and say, oh, he has a question or she has a question. I can't do that. But if you ask it, I guarantee you will get an answer. Because Pam knows my home phone number. And Pam says, you got a question you need to answer now. She's the boss. She cracks that whip, makes me behave. Medea thread. Oh, Mary, we're going to teach you how to shuttle. It's good. We advise you to learn both techniques with these classes. Katia is the needle tatting teacher. Sue Fuller does a design class. They're both affiliates of ours. Katia's is Tatting Muse on YouTube, and Sue Fuller's is Sue K Creates. Crystal ball is broken, I know. Next week, we're working on the Easter Bunny stuff because we got Easter bunnies coming for the little ones. They got to have their good stuff. Yes, please, Katia, can you please post them for me? Now, Katia is French Canadian. You're subscribed to Georgia's site? Great, great, great. We're trying to get all that incorporated over to the class site. Georgia retired back in 2019, and in 2021, I believe it was, she handed them off to me. I was taking care of my mother at the time, and when she retired, and really couldn't do much for the classes. So my chair was throwing me out on the floor. It's a bad chair. It just doesn't like me. There you go. Thank you so much, Katia. So, any questions about today's class, folks? Sorry it was all over the map. My mind's going 50 different directions. Awesome. I think you'll enjoy it. Now, like I say, she's French Canadian, so she does speak English, but she has to think when she talks English. However, you can, if you have a problem, we can work around it, right, Katia? I will, Jackie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do feel good. I feel better than I have in a while. So, I mean, the shingles has been around for a month now. They can go. I'm ready for them to leave. They still itch every once in a while, especially up in here. And it hurts when you touch it. It's painful. I feel like somebody's hit me in the head, from here back. Well, thank you, Aurora. I do appreciate all of you. I really do. Y'all make my day. I look forward to Tuesdays. Yes, she does. She's very patient, folks. She's very patient. All right, Mavis, you are getting there. Now, anything y'all want to share on the Facebook page, your homework and stuff, I try to get in there and I try to comment on everybody's and say something about it. And, if I see some a little needs a little bit more work, I'll tell you. It needs a little bit more work. It does mine too. But right now, with all this wedding stuff, I'm just tatted out. I had to get the second wedding veil. Yeah, yeah, she's wearing her hair half up, half down, and the wedding veil is too short for her long hair. Her hair's longer than mine, and so I had to buy the longer veil. That makes it more to tat. And I've still got the jewelry to tat. I got so much tatting to do. There's not enough fingers on my hands to do it all. But it will get done. I got till September. If I have to do it in my sleep, I can. I've tatted in my sleep before. Awesome. Now, Mary, you need to hook up with Sue. The two of you need to get together and have a tat and chat. Make sure you got chocolate. It makes it even better. Yes, practice, practice, and practice more. Remember, there's no wrong way, there's no wrong question. Okay? You don't know something, you ask. We will get you the answers. We will take the time to show you. If you ask during class, I will stay after class to help you. Not a problem. I don't have any problems helping you all. You're my students, and I promised Georgia I would see the students go from I can't tat to look at my masterpiece. I did the monster dolly. If you do the monster dolly, you can do anything. Oh, thank you, Sue. All right. Now, one more thing for housekeeping. When you watch the videos, let those commercials run. Remember, we run strictly on donations. If you want to donate, you can donate through the website. You can do super chat, super stickers, and super thanks on here. All that comes in goes towards equipment, paying for the StreamYard and the things that we need to make these classes go smooth as silk. All right, pays for the website and everything. So watch them commercials if you can. If you don't have the money to donate, the commercials, we do draw pennies on a peanut. So every penny counts. All right. So with that said, I want you all to have a wonderful day. Anybody that is dealing with storms or bad weather, stay inside, stay comfortable, and stay safe. All right. I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful rest of your week. If you need me, holler. I'll answer. All right. And I'll see you next Tuesday, same time. And hopefully, our channel address is set in stone now. If it is, guess what? That's all you got to remember. You bookmark it, and Thursdays, 3 o'clock, I'm there. All right. Love you, Aurora. You stay safe and stay healthy, lady. All right. You're welcome, Mavis. Hug you too. Oh, I'm going to have a great day. I got a new coffee pot. I'm going to have a really good day today. Yeah, he picked it up a while ago. I was tired of the other one. It was just really getting on that last nerve. You never could tell if there was coffee in it. That one's a carafe type, but you couldn't see. It was like a percolator, the old percolators, and you couldn't see through it. You're welcome, RD. Very welcome. Well, thank you, Katia. I'm trying to stay healthy. You tell them germs stay away from me. They will. I'm working on getting my immune system built back up. Well, 4 cups of coffee, that'll get you through through some earrings and make you jittery. And I ain't saying no more. Because I drink enough caffeine to float a ship on. I couldn't make it through the day if it wasn't for the caffeine. So, that said, I see y'all next Tuesday. Love you guys, and we'll see you then. Bye bye.